COVID will finish, because many countries they have second time or second phase of COVID again. In Thailand, we try to, invite some happy tourists from another country, but we should check and recheck. But very difficult. I mean that before they come to Thailand, they should have 14 days, and when they come to Thailand, another 14 days like that. So very difficult for the tourists who can go to another country right now. And I just have some regret that we try to do for our tourism, not for mass tourism anymore. We should think about the alternative tourism. So I will have four words for this message. One is WINS. The first one, the view. It means we should think about our wisdom. Like we should think what you have in your country first. Like in Thailand, we should come back with our nature, with our culture. Like agriculture or tourism, we should for that in this time. Local wisdom is very important. The wisdom of the Philippines, the local wisdom in from Indonesia, in Vietnam, like that. Think about that. Become our resources for tourism. Okay? And the second one is innovation. Like we cannot far away from our mass media. We should think about like we have webinar right now. Use the linkage and use the computer or network is very important for us for today and for the future. Like for education right now we have uh, not just only, last time we tried to do for like a for MOOC, right? It means the online.
needs your help, and we brought Bali programs. It's not focusing to the foreign market, they focusing to the domestic traveler. Why they choose the domestic travelers? This is the government initiative. How the Indonesian government initiative. First, they strengthened the Indonesian national carrier, Garuda Indonesia. The Garuda Indonesia is equal with the Malaysia Airlines or the Philippine Airlines and all the subsidiaries. The Garuda Indonesia, they have subsidiaries, the Citylinks, the LCC of Garuda Indonesia, with a taxes exemptions for a domestic travel. As a This is a stimulus for the domestic travelers wants to be spend more holidays not in the going abroad, but they wants to change the Indonesian tourism to come back to Bali. In the illustration, usually the Indonesians from Jakarta to Bali for airfare is about the 5,000 pesos or about 100 US dollars. And now they changed to about the less than 1,000 pesos or about the 20 US dollars. So because of the exemption of the taxes for the domestic travels, the another government initiative is a launch the Kartu Prakerja programs, or in English a pre-employment car for a stimulus for employment rate. What is the most attractive for these programs? For you are Indonesian citizens who have jobless in case you got the fire after the COVID-19, you have no jobs, you can enroll these programs and you got the training conduct online by the governments, and you have got like incentives. Then the incentives is quite attractive. It's about the 10,000 pesos or about the 200 USD per persons as a stimulus, as a like emergency funding from the government to and for the those who are affected from the COVID-19. Another way, the government also launched the
So
airport
if
tax
you will
exemption
utilize
for
it,
all
each of
domestics.
them in terms of the Bayesian analysis, or you
Another
to consolidate this dimension in one aspect of volunteer engagement. Kasi when I read the questionnaire, there
another okay. And another way, they using the initiative to groceries and daily initiatives from the Ministry of the Tourism for all tourism workers during the June until August 2020. They give all the grocery and daily needs for all hotels workers and the, those who are work in the employment as an initiative to make sure their daily need is covered by the government. Another government initiatives. This is more be like a policy, and it is be a tricky because of more holidays, more long weekend to stimulate the domestic tourists to visit the tourism destination, especially with the Bali. So, in case like you got the cheap airline ticket airfare and got the cheap hotels, especially imagine you have stay in the Shangri-La with about the less than the 2,000 pesos, and you have a long weekends. This the really government's wants to please travel to the Bali or another domestic attraction. But this is also debatable because more holiday is also more infection rate. And another government initiative is a vaccine and medicine developments. In the recent news, the Indonesian government announced for the late 2020, the governments released the vaccine in collaboration with the China, and they also tell to the people that the medicines of the COVID-19 already just import from India to just make sure people safe to travel. The vaccine will available at December's, and the medicine for the COVID just released. And another ways, they simplify the e-visa requirement for the foreign tourists, especially to those who are from China. They make a simple e-visa to come to Bali and to Indonesia. And another government initiative, they reduce the bank interest rates, such as like a housing loan, credit card loans, consumption rate until about the 2%. This is the initiative by the governments to make sure the economies and the economic sectors and the tourism sectors can be struggles as as good as can. But this is the challenge on the tourism recovery as in Indonesian case. The first one is the rising of the COVID-19 infection rate, especially last time during the after Eid Mubarak long holiday, long weekends. In Indonesia, during the Eid Mubarak, they have about the holidays is about the 1 weeks. And after the long weekends, the infection rate is rising about the 20%. Another challenge is about the skepticism from the Indonesian people about the economic recovery. Just now, the governments announced that Indonesia entered recessions, the -3%, and this is increasing the skeptics of the Indonesian peoples about the economic recovery. Another challenge is the uncertainty about the US presidential election results. Who is winners, the Biden or the Trump? This is a challenge also what's really happened to the market, the stock market, the uncertain economic recovery. That's really make a people really thinks twice to want to spend the money in the tourism's recovery. The fourth challenge is the Indonesian governor and mayor election in December 2020. The governments make an initiative to still continue the election, the local election for the governor and mayors in December 2020. They arguing the US and the Singapore still held the election even the COVID-19. Another challenge is the second wave COVID-19 in China and other countries, especially in Europe. That's really a challenge for Bali and Indonesia tourism to be recovered. And also, the South China Sea dispute and regional issue also can be considered to be a challenge for this tourism's recovery. And I want to play the what the Indonesians tourism advertising after the COVID-19. So they changed to be more like a soft uh, soft marketing and more be like a it's safe to be in Indonesia. This is launched in June 2020, and it is sourced from the Indonesian embassy in the Den Haag, Netherlands. I hope it can be played now. Sorry, it cannot be. Sorry for the technical issue. I cannot play the Indonesian tourism's advertisements. So, what's next to prepare for the tourism industry? First, to be ensure the hygiene and the safety protocols. As long as you have a face mask in Indonesia, if you not wear the face mask in the public, you got a fines about the 1,000 pesos, and many of the washing hand stall in the public area, and also maintaining cash flow at least the next 9 months, especially reduce the non-essential costs, especially if you are in the tourism sectors. You should maintain at least a cash flow for the next 9 months. We have a uncertain situation now. Maybe the vaccine is good, or maybe the vaccine cannot be good. And also spend for the money for the domestic tourisms. That what really I concludes. Kapag sama-sama tulong-tulong, kayang-kaya. And also spread the good news, not the fear of hoax, because to spread the hoax or bad news is also impacted for the domestic tourism attraction. They will be takot, they will be fear to enjoy the tourism destination in your countries. Maraming salamat po. We pray also for these pandemics, for the hands and the minds of medical experts, the main ministers to seek and the compassion, and also those government and private agencies. And we also praise for those afflicted. May they will be restored to health soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Susilo, for that presentation and for the information that you have just given us. I hope to visit Indonesia soon, and I'm glad that they will do something on the simplification of the electronic visa requirement. All right, thank you, sir. Okay, moving on to our next speaker. He is a professor of the Housing, Building, and Planning from University SENS in Penang, Malaysia. Let us welcome Dr. Badruddin Mohammed.
Thank you very much, everybody. Dr. Easter Garcia, the UE President, Dr. Zosimo Batak, UE Chancellor, Dr. Rapon Tonma, from the President of Major University, and my colleague, Dr. Abdul Nasir from Housing, Building and Planning. Happy Friday from Penang, Malaysia. Please allow me to share my screen first. I hope everybody can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. I've been invited to speak on the some of the impacts of COVID-19 on the tourism Malaysia and how we manage it. Let me bring everybody to by the end of 2019, when the World Tourism Organization reported that tourism was booming. We had about 1.5 billion tourist arrival in 2019. We projected to grow 3.3% per year and to have 1.8 billion tourists by 2030. WTO also predicted a 4% increase for this year's number, 2020, and we were looking forward towards the Tokyo Olympic 2020 and also Expo Dubai. The tourist activities were shifting at that time to Asia Pacific. We were recorded 5% growth, and it was projected to reach 535 millions by 2030. The Chinese tourists was traveling all over the world, increased by 14%, and WTO also ready to celebrate this year as the year of tourism and rural development. And in Malaysia, we were ready to launch, actually visit Malaysia year 2020, and my hometown now, Penang, was also ready to launch the visit Penang year with Experience Penang tagline. But unfortunately, COVID-19 hit the whole world. It brings the whole world to a standstill. This is unprecedented event that happened. tourism is said to be the first sector to be affected, and perhaps the most affected sectors, as we have learned today. The impacts has been cross border. We have multiplying impacts across the boards and across sector. And this year, 2020, we are already at the end of 2020. We learned that 850 million and 1.1 billion less international tourist travel this year. We were active only in January and February, and when it come March, I think the whole will stop. There's over 120 million jobs at risk, and 1 trillion economic damage. And the tourists, I think by now, have declined by 80% in tourist arrival globally. And then one thing that we realized as a researcher, that those destinations depending too much or too heavily on tourism would suffer the most. And look at what happened 1 trillion economic damage. Look at what happened to Greece, to Portugal, Phuket in Thailand, and my friend Susilo mentioned about what happened in Bali and so on. We know that the cruise and the MICE sector has been crippling even until today. And from time to time, we heard the not so good news from the airline industry. By the end of 2019, I think the whole world was struggling with the word over tourism. We were talking about the damage that tourism has done to the world. We were worried that we are going down because of over tourism. But now the story is different. Now we are talking about under tourism. We are worried that the whole world cannot move, the whole economy collapsed because of there's not much of tourism activities running around. The numbers for Malaysia has not been that great either. We have experienced a drop of 80 international tourist arrival this year. We used to have about 32 million. Now we only have about 4.2 million. The tourist expenditure also go down. The daily visitor also go down. And then a great number of hotels goes down. Some temporarily, some permanently. We have about 5 or 6 hotels has been closed down in Penang alone. And then the Ministry of Tourism has reported that perhaps tourism in Malaysia will require about 4 years to fully recover. Last week, I was flying, I think last 2 weeks, I was flying from Kuala Lumpur to Penang. And this is basically the scene that you can see at Kuala Lumpur International Airport. You see lines of Malaysia Airlines, Lion Eagle. The other side, you can see lines of Air Asia aircraft, Lion Eagle. It is a very sad scene. I feel like I'm in a used aeroplane yard, where there's not many flight taking off and coming down. So what can we learn so far? Ladies and gentlemen, students across the world, suitable with the topic that we are talking about today, we learn that the disasters, whenever they hit us, we know that tourism sector is fragile. Before COVID, we already have SARS, we already have the bird flu, we already have the MERS, Middle East disease and so on. But we seems never learned that the tourism sector can hit us, can be hit anytime, and it is very fragile. We also learned that destinations should not depend too much on tourism. We need to diversify the economy and not too depending on tourism as a single sector. We should not take for granted the importance of domestic tourism. Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia are alike, or even Philippines are alike. When we talk about tourism, we always focus on international tourists. The promotion is only directed for international tourists. The development of infrastructure is all about international tourists. Similar in Malaysia. But now, when COVID-19 hit us, we start to realize that domestic tourism is very much important. And vibrant domestic tourism is main pillar of sustainable tourism. Countries which has which have vibrant domestic tourism like China, like Korea, even like India, they are not really affected that much because of they have a very strong, vibrant domestic tourism. And the new norms learned during the not COVID-19 must be carried towards into the future undertaking. What else? We learned that now safety, risk, health element must be included as the new attributes of destination. It's no longer the level of hospitality. It's not only the level of service and infrastructure and the kind of product that we are offering. We now must take into consideration the list, the risk, the safety, and also the health element. We also learn that tourism enterprises must adopt fast to changes. Yeah, if you don't write on the social media on the new technology, I think you'll be left behind. You will suffer the most. We in Malaysia also realize that tourism enterprises are too much dependent on governmental supports. When COVID hit us in March, a lot of hotels closed down, business are crying, and they are start depending on governmental support. This is something that we have to look that it seems like our tourism sector or enterprises are also very fragile. And lastly, we know that innovation must thrive to survive the pandemic. We learn now, the sustainable tourism principle have taught us to appreciate the principle of carrying capacity, and we ignore that. But now, when we hit by COVID-19, we learn that capacity is something that we need to respect. And it takes COVID-19 to teach us to do some social distancing and to appreciate the carrying capacity of places. At least for Malaysia, we learn how to queue. Malaysians are known as a group of people who do not really like to queue, not like the Japanese and Korean, but now Malaysians are forced to queue. We have to improve our hygiene. And one thing for them in the hospitality industry, we learn not to waste food when eating buffet. So when you go to a hotel now, they don't serve buffet like it used to be. And remember, before 2019, when we eat buffet, it seems like we have to eat everything, and we end up leaving a lot of food on the table, and that causes a lot of wastage. I'm not going to talk too much on the role of government. I just want to simplify that help in any countries, the role of government is very crucial. In Malaysia, we talk about the policy intervention, the financial support. For example, most Malaysian, all Malaysian are receiving what they call the moratorium for 6 months. If we have car loans, housing loan, we do not have to pay for 6 months, and now we start paying it back. The role of government in enforcing lockdown. If you look at the world, democracies like United States, because of so democratic, they cannot really force lockdown, and that's why they are having a lot of problem compared to countries who have a very I do not want to use a strict government, but very a little bit autocratic government. They introduce lockdown, and Alhamdulillah in Malaysia, Malaysian has been very diligent citizen. We follow whatever instruction given by the federal government in terms of what they call lockdowns, wearing masks, and so on. Back to tourism. The Tourism Malaysia have introduced what they call the 5R, the recovery strategies. Number one is to reinvent the products, to research our target markets, remodel our marketing and promotion methods, to write on new technology, and to calibrate the industry from time to time. In the beginning, in March or April, we were trying to explore the green bubble travels among the region, perhaps with Thailand, with Brunei, with Australia, with Japan. But it seems like this green bubble doesn't really work because of different countries have different numbers, different regulation, and some, even though we allowed people from New Zealand, Australia to come in, but our strict regulation or different style of regulation and limitation have do not allow us to explore the green bubble travel. One thing for sure, that in order to recover from this COVID-19, the first step that we do is to build confidence on destination, to build confidence from New Zealand, Australia to come in. Population. Let me bring to Penang. Penang has been promoted what they call responsible tourism. That
Sir Bada, your mic is turned off.
Yes, can you hear me now? Bring to Penang.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Penang has been promoted. Let me go back to Penang. We are promoting what they call responsible tourism. Responsible tourism, as we know before, it was about respecting the culture, the local environment, the local heritage and custom. But now, Penang have introduced a different form of responsible tourism, putting responsibility on both tourists when they travel to Penang, responsibility of the tourism player when they offer their product, to prepare all the necessary health-related facilities to ensure social distancing and so on. And Penang government also have introduced what they call the accreditation, the SOP, safety accreditation, to strengthen the tourism sector. And all this measure is to increase the confidence to travel to Penang. Across Malaysia, we also incentivize the domestic travel. AirAsia coming out with a lot of promotion, and then since June, the numbers keep going up again. And I think because of in Malaysia we had a lockdown for about 3 or 4 months, people just want to get away. We start traveling the city, and from domestic tourism, we move now to what we call the local tourism. So every cities now are promoting their own product. In this city, and they start giving discount if you come from Penang. This is my background, the habitat. If you are Penangites, if you come to Penang, you're going to enjoy more discount when you travel. So in Malaysia, we are experiencing what we call the growth of staycation. Tired of staying at home, Malaysians start booking the hotel and apartments to get away, to take the opportunity to walk their city. Now basically empty because of not many foreign tourists, to enjoy the facilities offered by the hotel, the buffet, the spa, and opportunities to reconnect and to revisit the local attraction, which were before was crowded with outside tourists, and sometimes they normally stay in the resort, which are a few kilometers away from home. So the growth of staycation is something that is moving into Malaysia. And of course, we all know that there is an intensified use of social media. Look at what we are having now. A lot of virtual tourism, a lot of webinar, and I think I do not know whether it's good or not, but I do miss having a face-to-face what you call meeting and conference. And one thing this webinar have caused to the tourism industry is that the MICE industry is having a big problem because of the advancement in this webinar setting. So it's time, ladies and gentlemen, to diversify the economy. Langkawi Island, for example, one of our top island, has realized that they have been depending too much on tourism. Now, not many people there, shop closed, so they are now going back to expand their economy in the agriculture sector, in edu-tourism sector, and to focus more on domestic travels with a longer term vision. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we must now relook at how we as a tourism stakeholder, treat the natural resources. We must now move towards quality tourism, and we must put more value on tourism and our culture. In Langkawi, for example, due to the lockdown, not many tourists. The eagle feeding activities has stopped. The eagle have lost their sense of finding food. So what happens that the local association, the local government have introduced a different form of eagle feeding. They are now feed the eagle with fish that can float, where now the eagle must learn how to find the fish and find the food on their own. So among my last slide, some of the challenges that we have here is that can local tourists be more responsible than before? This is the question that I want all of you to think. We are now talking about responsible tourism after COVID. Can we be more responsible? Our local tourism can be as responsible as the international counterpart? Or are we going back to the business as usual after the whole pandemic issue settled down? Are we willing to pay premium prices for attractions, for heritage, for culture? Because now, in order to promote domestic tourism, a lot of attractions has been slicing their prices so that people come and visit. But this is not healthy in the long term because when you start selling your culture very cheap, you're going to entice mass consumption, and it's going to damage the environment and the culture again. Well, our people, Malaysian, Filipinos, Indonesian, Thais, and others, are we going to keep on traveling in our country once the borders are open? I'm not sure because of a lot of people still, are dying to break the border. So, how do domestic tourism survive after the pandemic end? And my conclusion that I want to make this evening is that coronavirus pandemic, it is an unprecedented economic crisis that require coordination with, it's no longer tourism per se. We need constant integrated coordination with other departments, especially the health department, the police, the army, and so on. And destination should diversify economy and not too over-dependent on tourism. COVID-19 also revealed that the tourism hospitality sector needs to be more resilient, and the survival rate among our tourism sectors and enterprises, as we have learned now, is rather low. We need to appreciate the significance of domestic tourism, as I mentioned before. And I think it's about time for us to use the ground zero hours for our own housekeeping. Look at how we do things. Look at how we manage things, to change our business model, to assess how we do the promotion, to assess the damages and risks, and for us to re-strategize perhaps, to change the policy and to enhance our innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. I hope you have a wonderful conference and discussion ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed, for that very informative presentation. I promise to become a responsible tourist soon when I visit Malaysia, sir.
Thank you.
All right. And for our last speaker in this group, she is a lecturer at the School of Administrative Studies at Major University, Chiang Mai, Thailand. I am very happy and honored to present a very good friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Dr. Jaria Ome. I promise to become a responsible tourist soon when I
Hapon po, sir. Morning.
Hello, Amy.
Afternoon. Good afternoon, UE President Dr. Garcia and UE Chancellor Batas and Metro University President Dr. Weir Ponthoma and all participants. And my presentation now. Okay. I'm Rationale from School of Administrative Studies from Major University, Thailand. Today, thank you so much for giving the opportunity to attend this webinar today. Selamat po. Today, in my presentation, I will talk about recovery and redevelopment proposal for tourism and hospitality industry in Thailand. Okay, first, I would like to about hospitality industry. I mean, before COVID crisis. Yes, and I think if you know Thailand, you will know many attractions. For example, Chiang Mai, Bangkok, Phuket, Pattaya. All attraction is very popular, both of tourists and foreigner, uh, especially China, Europe, and ASEAN country group. More, therefore, tourism and hospitality generate enormous income for Thai economy. Yes. If you see, look at the graph, Thailand has tourism growth and constantly increasing of tourism income. But this growth had too hot because COVID-19 outbreak that impact to social, to way of life, and to economic, especially in tourism and hospitality industry. The COVID and impact in tourism, hospitality industry in Thailand. If you see this picture, the spread of the coronavirus is constantly increasing and spreading across the world, especially in America, India, and France. And how about Thailand? The situation in Thailand keep getting better now. After the government announced emergency decree and uh, curfew and public health agency working to prevent and reduce the problem. If you see the red line in this picture, the graph shows a steadily decreasing number of new patient cases. This reflects the better domestic situation since April this year. Yes, uh, impact of COVID-19. Foreign tourists, which used to be the main tourism income, were hardened due to country closure. Thailand, which had a record 39.8 million tourist arrival last year, has recorded zero foreign visitors since April when a travel ban was imposed. If you see this picture, the foreigner tourist is zero now in Thailand. When Thailand has no foreign tourists, which business are affected most during COVID-19? Business that have been severely affected by the COVID-19 outbreak, especially those that rely mainly on tourism and hospitality, including hotel, airline, wellness, and spa business, including pub, bar, or entertainment venue and entertainment service, which affected to the overall economy of the country. How does Thailand coping with this problem? Thailand try to coping this problem. I think if trying to analyze the tourism situation, both of transition period and post-COVID. In the transition period phase, health consciousness will shift pattern of tourism. from mass tourism to FIT, or free and independent traveler, or smaller group travel and mainly domestic tourists, and shift pattern from large hotel to boutique hotel, and shift pattern from long distance to shorter travel distance, as long distance flights are feel more expensive. And moreover, uh, and if post-COVID phase, it means if the world have vaccine for what we call coronavirus, I think pre-COVID pattern of tourism will return. There will be opportunity in medical tourism and health and wellness. And religion tourism will increase as international tourists, especially from China. And which segment market should be focused on first? Okay, the first one, the FIT, smaller group travel is important. The second one, short haul travel within the country. Uh, and the third one, health tourism is important, ensuring good health and making tourism a part of healthy and happy lifestyle. And traditionalists like to travel with emphasize safety and zero risk. And the last one, budget travel, visit a low-cost vacation tourist trip. Thailand recovery. Thailand government try to recover tourism and hospitality industry in Thailand. Summarized in three phases according to Tourism Authority of Thailand. The first phase one is lockdown exit. First, Thailand tried to formulate CHA standards. CHA is mean Amazing Thailand Safety and Health Administration for set standard in tourism and hospitality business. CHA is tourism sanitation and safety standard in the new normal age that establish service standard in sanitation for business owner over Thailand and ensure that tourists are confident in our service. So hotel and accommodation, attraction, and all of business in tourism must follow CHA standard. And the second one, the Rationale application. Rationale application which require people to scan a Rationale. Rationale, when you go to a shopping mall, when you go to some attraction, you must scan in Rationale application for check-in and check-out of place they visit. This application try to check and record travel information of Thai people and tourists. And the third one, public health measure. The Thai government set public health measure, remind both local and foreigner to maintain social distancing rule, and adhere to safety routine. All of this in phase one are measures to prevent a new outbreak and stimulate tourism because it can be give confidence to Thai people and to tourists. And phase two is selective open. Selective open try to promote domestic tourism to offset the of foreign arrival and support standardized business bring to promote the tourism market. See the first one, เราเที่ยวด้วยกัน is a Thai word. It means we go travel together campaign by Tourism Authority of Thailand or TAT to support the government policy to boost domestic tourism. This campaign offer 40% cashback or up to 1,000 baht per person per ticket, accommodation, and e-voucher for discount food and beverage. And the second campaign, กำลังใจ or package free tip for 1.2 million medical personnel to who will receive 2,000 baht refund for to day 1 night travel package. And the last one that I'm show you, กำลังใจ package. กำลังใจ not กำลังใจ sorry. คนละครึ่ง package. คนละครึ่ง is scheme for 1 million people can award for daily discount on their shopping of up to 150 baht, capped at 3,000 baht. Of all, to promote domestic tourism to access the lack of foreign arrival. And the last phase 3 is extensive open. Phase 3 extensive open this opening the country to sustainable under new normal and expanding the travel group base to revisit group to incentive travel and responsible tourism. If you see this PowerPoint, Phuket model was proposed by government to kick off in October as its first step in reopening its border. The model involved direct flight to Phuket, mandatory 15-day quarantine, and several tests before foreign tourists can fully enjoy their vacation on the island or the country. Traveler will be limited to the single province with a requirement that they enter another 7-day quarantine. I mean that if of all 21 days for quarantine. If they wish to depart to another province, those who test negative for COVID-19 after 20 days will be allowed to travel nationwide. Officials have estimated that 100,000 long-term travelers would jump in the model. If proved to be successful, a similar concept will be applied to other Thai destinations such as Chiang Mai or Samui or Pattaya or all of country. However, a model, Phuket model, will only allow tourism from approved country to be involved and Phuket to be a pilot group preparing for expanding exposure general tourist group in the future. However, Thailand reopening the Phuket model meets resistance and duty from stakeholders. Most of people and healthcare workers fear the onset of the second wave of infection once the border reopened, like what happened in Vietnam. But the government side looking to recovery and stimulate the new economy. I think there were both people agreeing and disagreeing in Phuket model. Thus, redevelopment is challenge for the tourism and hospitality industry in the period ahead. Redevelopment proposal for tourism and hospitality industry in Thailand. The first one, I think, should be redeveloped about health system. Is very important. In hotel, in other accommodation, in tourism site, in restaurant and transportation. should be redeveloped about human resource, especially in management that make tourists confident or trusting in health and safety system and quality service, and adapt operations, modify employee practice, and redesign public space to help protect employee and customers. And the second one should be redevelop marketing. Tourism and hospitality business should be changed from discount strategy to differentiate strategy. Small business must make a difference for themselves rather than compete with big business. For example, a small hotel must be able to tour program by themselves, accommodate high-value tourists. And then should we redevelop new marketing target group for respond to tourist behavior, especially tourists that high-value tourists, like travel with emphasis on safety and zero risk and focus on privacy. And then redevelopment new tourist attraction like alternative tourism such as community enterprise group or community tourism or health tourism and agritourism that can respond smaller of private group travel. And then should be improved infrastructure for travel in new normal and adopt and implement public health measure. And the last, should we take this opportunity to recovering degraded tourist attraction like national park and other. In summarize, road to future for Thailand tourism and hospitality industry. Thailand are now well second stage and coming into the third stage. Thai government and all concerned agencies, including the private sector and people, to cover and redevelopment and driving the tourism industry in the country to develop again, and hope that Thailand will return as a country with growing tourism and can step into the sustainable country in tourism and hospitality industry again. That brings to presentation in the end, and thank you for your kind attention. Selamat po.
Thank you very much, Dr. Comment. And I hope that you will bring me to Phuket when I visit you there, Yimi.
I hope you will visit me.
Oh, yeah? Soon, Yimi, soon.
I will
All right.
you.
Yes, if everything is okay. All right. So now it's time for our Q&A. So given the time, I believe I can only accommodate one question. So may I call on one of the moderators, our College Secretary Rina Salamat, for the question, please, and to whom is the question addressed?
Good afternoon, everyone. This question is addressed to Dr. Danielle Susilo. You presented a lot of perks or travel promotions to local residents in order to boost domestic tourism like discounted airfares, long holidays, to name a few. In the event that Indonesia is ready to accept international tourists, do you have programs to entice again the global market to come and experience again the beauty of Indonesia?
Dr. Susilo? Do we still have Dr. Susilo? Okay. All right. I don't think we still have Dr. Susilo in the.
We can address the question to Dr. Bada.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Dr. Bada, can you answer the question? If it's in Malaysia, how will you address the question?
Dr. Bada, you're still mute. Kindly unmute, sir. Okay, thank you.
Okay. In the case of Malaysia, one thing for sure that we do a lot of special package to attract people from the world to come over. But I think we are now very, very careful in terms of who we are attracting. So as I mentioned that we are now research on our market now. We are focusing on the what we call the green market, not the green tourist market, but those who have a very low number of tourists. During this year 2020, we are now repackaging our tourist product, and definitely a lot of attractions are putting together a new way, a new innovative product to attract with a cheaper price tag, which I I don't think I agree with that, because as I mentioned is that I think Malaysia should be focusing more on quality tourists, those who come and respect and spend perhaps more money, behave, and rather than focus on mass travel.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Bada, for that answer. Can you also ask Dr. Comment, Yimi, for a short comment on that, related to that question, Yimi?
Yes, please. Questions again. Sorry, sir.
Okay. Ma'am Rina, can you repeat the question? Or do we have another question for Yimi? Moderators? Why not ask Dr. Aldabe? Dr. Aldabe, can I have one question for Yimi? For Dr. Comment? I'm sorry, I always call you Yumi. Sorry. For Dr. Comment.
I,
Dr. Aldabe? Uh, one question from, can I ask from Mamabel? Mamabel?
Unmute.
Okay.
Unmute. Okay now. All right. All right.
Comment. Okay, thank you.
All right. It's already, we've been waiting for, we cannot unmute. Okay. Good afternoon. This question is addressed to Dr. Jaria Komel. As part, all right, as part of the Thai economic and tourism industry recovery measures is to promote domestic tourism to offset the lack of foreign arrivals. You presented the Phuket model, wherein you cited two issues or contradicting perspectives, such as stimulating the economy, but at the same time taking into consideration safety. The question is, Dr. Jaria, how can you synchronize or balance these two contradicting issues of stimulating the economy and safety?
model, right? Hello. You think the issue that you Phuket model to issue. The first one, the government try to recover the economy, but opposite. Most of people, they care of in safety more than recovery economy. But if we try to balance two perspective for all of Thai economy, I think the government should be try to give information, the true information to Thai people. For example, if the foreigner tourists came to Thailand, I mean direct flight to Phuket, and then the rule of when we have foreigner to Thailand, we have the rule for scan tourists. I mean, we have alternative quarantine for 14 days for scan tourists before go to outside or another location, another province, except Phuket. I think this information is important for the government to share to Thai people. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Comment, for that wonderful answer. So the other questions sent to the moderators will be sent to our speakers, and also you may direct sending your questions to our speakers, and they would be very glad to answer your questions. And now I think we are moving on to the next part of our webinar proper. I would like to call my co-MC, Department Chair Rosalejos, to be in charge of the second part of the webinar proper. Thank you.
Thank you, DC Darwin. Thank you for that very good discussion and fruitful exchange of ideas from our first three speakers. We will further nourish our participants with more ideas as we proceed to the next part of our webinar. Part 2 of the webinar focuses on the tourism and hospitality opportunities, enhancing and harnessing technology and innovation. So to continue, may I call on our next speaker, Mr. Sangthong Sefangshai, lecturer in the Economics and Tourism Faculty, Souphanouvong University, Luang Prabang Province, Laos, PDR. He will talk about opportunities for innovating and investing in tourism and hospitality industry in Laos, PDR. Mr. Sefangshai?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen? Pardon.
Yes, sir. We can see your presentation.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Excellency, to Dr. Esther Kasia, UE President, and Dr. Jin Kachang, DSC, and Dr. Virapon Thauma, MGU President. And today I will talk about opportunity for innovation and investment in the tourism and hospitality industry in Laos PTR. And here is the topic, or I will talk about, I will give you about Laos general information, and then next about Laos government tourism policy, and then I will talk about SWOT analysis about tourism situation and COVID-19 pandemic in Laos. So this one I will talk about, Laos, the former we call Lansa, that means it's a land of million elephant, and now we call Laos PTR. And Laos is a landlocked country, so it's more country in Indochina. Is only 240,000 square kilometers, and the population is 7.2 million. and we share border with China, Myanmar, Thailand, and Cambodia and Vietnam. And the capital of Laos is Vientiane, and in Laos we call Vientiane. Next, this map I will show you where is Laos. Some participants maybe you don't know about Laos, where is it here. Next, I will talk, or I will give you about the general information about tourism industry in Laos. Like here is number of hotel, guest house, and resort in Laos, and you see in 2019 we have a guest house only 627, and guest and resort is and guest house 2000, around 2000, and restaurant is around 2000 in 2009 too, and entertainment business 246, and its total is 5,845 business. Next picture I will show you about the number of travel agent in 2019. We have 539 travel agent, and here is a tourist site in Laos in 2009. And we have a natural site, cultural site, and historical site. So total tourist sites 2,000, around 2,000, but we operate only 800 tourist sites in Laos. So here is 10 best places to visit in Laos. I will show you. Number one is Luang Prabang, the north part of Laos. It's the first heritage town in Laos. Also, it's beautiful. I think in the future you can visit and come after COVID-19. It's my workplace. Next, number one is Vientiane. It's the capital of Laos, is middle part of Laos, so it's a beautiful city also. And number two is Quang Bien. Quang Bien is the north part of Laos. It's a beautiful mountain city here. And number four, one is the part of Laos also. This picture is a plant of char. This the third heritage, world heritage in Laos. And number fifth is Sipanon, is the north in the southern part of Laos. Is waterfall is famous in Laos too. And six, Wat Phu is temple. This one is Khmer, like a Khmer temple in the past. And the number seven is Luang Prabang, northern province in Laos. Is nice places to visit too. And number eight is Kong Lo Cave. This is cave in Khamon in middle part of Laos. It's beautiful cave too. And number nine is mountainous city. Is in Laos we call Nong Kiao. Yeah. And the last one is Bogao. Natural reserve is house tree. Is famous for international tourists. So next, I will show you about the number of domestic tourists in Laos. We'll see in 2019, domestic tourists, we have allowed 2 million tourists here. And for international tourists, allow 4 million in 2019. The first one is ASEAN tourists, the first one, and second one is Asia and Pacific, and the third one is from Europe. Yes. And here is the top 10 generating market for Laos tourism. Number one is Thailand, So Thailand's #1 tourist to visit in Laos because we close together and we understand each other. We use similar language and culture together. And then number second is China and Korea. Here. And here is a will show you revenue from tourists. And in dollar in 2019, we have revenue from tourists in dollar is around $934 million. And the day for the tourists to stay in Laos is around 8 days or 1.5 weeks. And this table I will show you the revenue from tourism industry is the number 3 of GDP in Laos, and the number 1 is mineral and other industry. Number 2, that's it. Tourism important for Laos economic and Laos development country. Next, I will show you about the government policy. Tourism and important international economic sector, which government has placed as one of the 11 priority development sector, and being one of the top national export. Tourism has also created significant local employment opportunity, and the government has identified and announced the implementation of the tourist development and promotion plan in order to encourage the development of natural, cultural, and historical tourism resources. It has also investment further in related tourism infrastructure such as road and national highway that connect to major city and town in Laos and region. And tourism is a cross-cutting economic sector that play an important role to the economic development of Laos, and especially in developing community-based tourism and improve tourism product and service. Key tourist investment include site development and new product development in various destinations countrywide. The natural tourism resource in particular has received special investment interest from visitors. And in light of this, the government is open for investment in many key destinations at the nation and provincial level. Next, I will show you a SWOT analysis of the current tourism situation. What is Laos has stress? Number 1, Laos people has abundant and unique cultural, natural, and historical tourist resource with diverse geographic landscape, including flat plain, plateau, and mountainous region. Culturally, the Lao people consists of many diverse ethnic groups and peaceful live under a united environment, and practice of the traditional festival based on lunar calendar all year round. Other attractions include historical relics left by the Indochina War. One of the most important strengths is a stable political environment that helps facilitate positive tourist development and growth. For weakness, limited access to good infrastructure, especially road connection, domestically and regionally. Laos remain unknown to many global citizens, and limited international promotion and limited funding for international tourism marketing, and low quality promotion, material restriction, local access to target market. In comparison to neighboring country, it can be said that quality level of tourism facility in La Pida is still low compared to the price of tour program. Domestic tourist business are still weak with limited funding and lack experience and the hermit resort with tourism training. There are a pivot gap into tourism development between fast-growing province and low economic growth province, resulting in imbalanced investment. And the last ones are stakeholder collaboration in tourism planning and development has been as effective as it should be. For opportunity in tourism industry in Laos, since Laos is situated in the heart of the Mekong region and together with the region tourist strategy of promoting tourist linkage among neighboring countries along the economic corridor, create a unique opportunity for the LAPDR to increase tourist arrival. Based on the present tourist growth and the tourist forecast for 2020 by the WTO that China and India will become the world number one, number two high tourist growth country. So these two enormous countries will be an important market for Laos also. Integrate national economic policy for effective regional integration will be a very important attribute to support further tourist growth for the Laos PDR. Increasing attractive investment climate and opportunity for both foreign and domestic through the development of special economic zone, which allow comprehensive service and facility development to increase opportunity of attracting more tourists. And for the threat of Laos tourism industry, political instability of neighboring country, international terrorist attack, the spread of different deadly virus prevented long-haul international travel. Global price of oil has increased in the last few years, resulting in higher cost of service, and the tourism sector was not exempted from this. Drug and sex tourism and regular political established native image for the region. And the last one, high competition for international market among countries in the region. However, with limitation on international marketing and limited tourist service and facility. And here I will show you general information about COVID-19 pandemic in Laos. And confirmed case 24, recovered 23, and new case only 1, and death we don't have no death for COVID-19 case. And this picture show you about the government restriction for stop the COVID pandemic in Laos here. So that's it for my presentation. If you have any questions, please ask me later. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for opening our minds on the status of Laos PDR tourism and hospitality industry. Thank you, Mr. Sepongshai. By the way, questions from our participants will be entertained after the second speaker. So please post your questions through the chat box. For those in the YouTube live streaming, kindly post questions through the comment section. Now to move on to the next topic on opportunities for digitalization and connectivity enhancement in the Philippine tourism and hospitality industry, may I call on the President of the Philippine Association of Researchers for Tourism and Hospitality Industry, or PART, Mr. Jojo M. Villamin. Mr. Villamin. All right, I think we're having technical problems. Mr. Villamin, you're next. Okay, sir. Go ahead, sir. Sir Jojo, we cannot hear you. I think your microphone is turned off. We cannot hear you, Sir Jojo. Okay,
Hello?
sir. I think yes. There's a
You
sound of
can.
it. Go
All
ahead.
right. Thank you so much, Professor Navarrete. So once again, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. To my friends, of course, from my co-speakers from the other nationality and country, that's the way we actually greet one another, especially in this afternoon. Magandang hapon pong muli. So thank you for allowing me to speak in this, grandeur webinar. Of course, to Dr. Esther Garcia, the president of the University of the East, the administrators, my colleagues in the academy, and of course, students who are watching and listening to us right now, and to everyone, especially in YouTube, because I have so many friends also watching over YouTube. So the topic given to me is all about the opportunities. So for digitalization and connectivity enhancement in the Philippine tourism and hospitality industry. So to begin with, um, in this global pandemic time, no, it's very very crucial for us to appreciate things that's happening around us. So we tend to maximize already what's with the environment, what's with the society already, and I always look into, the positive side of things. If we are put in this kind of situation, that means we have to look for the advantages, the strong points, the strengths that we can actually work on in order for us to move forward. And the virus is actually there. So the thing is, why don't we try to live with the virus instead of, changing most of our ways in order for us to achieve better? Anyway, if we are to consider also other viruses along the way, history will tell you we were able to live with them. So I think this is just one of the phases that we have to move forward. Now, in order for us to better appreciate the opportunities and for digitalization and connectivity, this is something close to my heart because this is my dissertation in the graduate school. It's because we cannot deny the fact that we have to live also with the digital economy or the digital world for that purpose. E-commerce is actually left and right, and you can think about of ways if you don't know about these things already. So instead of going against it, why not gang over them and try to include so much possibilities on how this technology can actually help you and assist you in so many ways. So let's start the discussion by asking ourselves, are you ready? Because even if we are actually in this pandemic situation, we have to get ourselves ready and embrace this kind of economy wherein change is really, really inevitable. It so happened that, you know, generation will actually tell you of our transition in order for us to better appreciate what's really happening around us. And meaning ready is something like we have to embrace this kind of changes, especially if we're talking about the digital economy. It's very, very important for us to appreciate all these things, especially that we are also in the business parlance and the tourism and the hospitality industries at the same time. So readiness would mean, embracing this kind of changes. Now, as we move forward, let me share with you some of the points that we have to consider in order for us to maximize or get the opportunities that we have to live. The first one is we follow the rules. If you happen to go to a restaurant right now, you will be asked to sign up a sheet of paper telling you about information so that it will be used for contact tracing. Why not work on a QR code, and then that the system will actually create a database where your information is already there. The thing is that when you are already in the database, you don't keep anymore uh, filling up the form every now and then. So I would suggest for the hospitality and tourism industry, especially here in the Philippines, why don't we try to have a QR code so that everybody will have to have an ease of access in order for us to enter a particular establishment instead of filling out the form every now and then that you have to approach a particular restaurant. So you can't imagine, no, if especially if there are restaurants which are operating in the global landscape, it will be easier for you to just get the QR code and then your system will already be there. Anyway, there's a provision for data privacy that this will only be used because of the contract tracing and not for anything else. And I think the restaurants, together with the entire tourism and hospitality industry, not only in the Philippines, will be able to adhere to this kind of system or changes also. So we have to follow the rules by making sure that we also embrace technology, especially with the use of the QR code. Moving forward, we also would like to extend our services into something like a paradigm shift if we are talking about our existing scenario. And I would like to quote on to give an example, like for example of the X-Link, which are very, very known already in events management system or services in terms of events. They're now changing their gears into creating an events uh, platform wherein there's an online platform for events. And you can't imagine, I just attended a birthday party which is actually conducted in a Zoom platform like similar to this. So there are so many ways on how we can get into the opportunities, especially for businesses, by changing their gears. So instead of blaming yourself or asking yourself how will I move on, you just go with the flow. You just have to embrace the technology. And you can't imagine there's also another opportunity waiting for you if you will just have to embrace that kind of changes with technology. So you can actually go for traditional and now go online, go on platform, go on online thing for your particular products and services. So this is one of the ways on how we can actually do virtual cheers. So probably later on, as we move towards the end of the webinar, I think University of the East Caloocan should actually have a virtual cheers for that purpose, for this particular successful seminar. So moving forward, aside from following the rules and virtual cheers with regard to QR codes and changing your gears to events on online events management company, you can actually go to rural is the name of the game right now. So why don't you try to maximize also rural tourism, make a more impactful rural tourism that will actually create so much of value to our guests and clients. Now the thing here is that you have to intensify the Wi-Fi, the internet connectivity when we talk about changing our gears also to rural tourism. And this is possible. No, I just I came from Mindoro, and then you will actually notice that despite the so many typhoons that happened to the province, no, they were able to keep up a very good Wi-Fi connection. And this is one of the best example on how we can actually change our gears and look for the opportunity that rural tourism is still possible. So all we need to do is a good access to the internet connection, and hola, you're going to be having a best of rural tourism already. Anyway, just as I mentioned, rural is the name of the game. So that's another opportunity for us to work on this, pandemic situation. I'm telling this, it's because since global travel is quite limited at this point in time, and we do not know yet as to when we're supposed to, battle or combat this kind of phenomenon. But definitely, we're looking into local travels, looking at the local experience. I think it's the best way on how we can actually move forward and appreciate tourism at the most. I've heard Dr. Esther Garcia telling that she is actually working on a yearly travel for leisure. I do the same thing. In fact, I have one provision to myself on how I reward myself. I travel to one international destination and of course one local destination. But at this point in time, I think it would be best that we have to maximize first all our efforts and revive tourism in such a way that local tourism will also progress. So maybe this year I'll go for two local tourism destinations. And of course, aside from this, we can also look at other opportunities. I think everybody has this kind of thing. So you have a Gcash, and you can't imagine even the delivery boy right now will actually ask you, "Do you have a Gcash?" When you talk about membership organizations, you're talking about transfer of money, load, food, etc. All of this will be talking about the online payment system. And I can't imagine if no one else will have to have a Gcash account in order for them to share their loads, their money transfer, even connection with the banks, and even with your credit cards. I think we go into cashless transactions all throughout, no? And I will not be surprised anymore if we're going to talk about even our transportation payments will actually be done through Gcash, no? So you have a Gcash account already? If that is something that you don't have at this point in time, I think you have to download the account. Oh, by the way, I'm not from Globe, but I'm actually happy with your services with regard to the Gcash services. And to our friends from other countries here who are also my co-speakers, I think it will also be, you know, time and fortune for us to maximize all this technology, especially with regard to cashless transactions. So aside from payments, no online payments for this purpose, we can get away also with meeting new friends. What about maximizing Siri? Have you tried asking Siri? I get across with a TikTok post from a friend, and then he's trying to get in touch with Siri, but is asking about Alexa, which is also another voice recording system. And these things are practically happening, especially when you are using iOS system. Definitely Siri will always be a good indication, a virtual assistant that will actually help you, especially when you are traveling, where to get the best food, where to get the best movies, what's the nearest place in your house, things like that. Siri can actually tell you. Even waking you up in wee hours in the morning, Siri can actually maximize all these things. And the best thing is, it's for free when you have an iOS system. So this particular opportunity will also allow customers, guests, to be assisted in a more, inconvenient way. And whether we like it or not, because we are also customers, we also act as client. We also go for being a customer. So all of this will actually be, just a tip of your talk to the speaker of your iPhone for that purpose, and definitely Hola Siri can actually help you in so many ways. But of course, there are limitations, no? But these are opportunities, and how we as customers can also adjust ourselves to what is really happening in the future. In fact, whether it's pandemic or not, Siri can always be a good tool for us to appreciate things already. And aside from voice recording or voice control, uh, we also have the virtual reality, no? So when we're talking about, is this for real, we can get away with allowing our customers, especially if you are in a hotel setup. Let's say, for example, you want to promote your hotel. Definitely hotel managers or hotel administrators will be able to adjust to the promotional campaign that they will allow their, you know, guests to get in and perhaps show them how beautiful your services are, your facilities are when it comes to virtual reality. So if you happen to check, no, virtual reality is now the in thing, especially if you're looking at virtual tours, no, for so that guests and customers will have an advanced knowledge, so they can be more picky somehow in terms of how they can actually have the accommodation for this purpose. Um, is it strongly suggest for us to embrace this kind of opportunity? Yes, no. It's because customers nowadays are more, you know, stringent when it comes to their choices and preferences. So why don't we try to you know, maximize this kind of things in order for them to appreciate well the services and facilities that we can offer if you happen to be in a particular hotel establishment, or even if you are into a tourist destination. I think it will be also helpful for them to realize or to experience virtually this kind of tours. It's a heads up, no, but of course the bottom line is we actually would like them to appreciate it in a virtual platform, and then moving forwards, you know, getting so much of uh, s- getting so much of the feel of which when they actually experience it in a face-to-face interaction. So again, virtual reality is also an opportunity for the tourism and hospitality industry. So we mentioned also about solo traveling, no? I don't know if you guys are familiar with the so many applications that are, you know, uh, pushing forward by Google Play, or Google Play, and then you will actually notice that there is such a thing as Solo Traveler, as it's an app, no? Now the thing here is that we have to embrace demographics. The more that we have to, you know, include also awareness such as mental health awareness. That's why solo traveling is now an in thing for, you know, adults, no, young adults at that, or probably 18 years old up to 40 years old. You guys are practically into social dating, etc. And but definitely with this type of pandemic, no, there is a big case of a mental deprivation or mental issues and concerns for that purpose. That's why there's a big chunk of a market for solo traveler, and you can actually find these kinds of things as a help, no, as assistance to solo travelers. So all you need to do is to download the app, and then Hola, it will create so much of services for you. It will actually tour you. It will actually create or give you options on what particular accommodations are being offered to solo traveler. And who knows, there are also promotional items exclusively for solo travelers. Plus the packages, of course, that are very, very enticing when we talk about solo traveling. So, you know, these things are digital, or these things are being embraced by technology, but all we need to do is to maximize the demographics, maximize the situation in order for us to create business. Anyway, tourism and hospitality will still speak business. So aside from this, we're also looking at the eco world or the eco technology for that purpose. If you can actually find here in my presentation, nature is simply the best. No? So you're looking at an eco-friendly house. Why don't we maximize the homestay program in our different localities and rural tourism or local experiences for that matter? I think the homestay program now, as indicated in the accreditation program of the Department of Tourism, will actually tell you of opportunities also for our local travelers. So if you guys would like to, you know, maximize homestay program, which is, you know, somehow a culturally inclined Airbnb for that purpose, I think they should change the way they actually think about the homestay program by changing it to an eco-friendly house. So even the solar panels, the photovoltaic panels, and even so many areas of concerns like energy efficient lighting, the windows, the setup, the design, the architecture of the homestay program, we can actually embrace eco technology. And definitely this is also part of the, you know, digitalizing and how we can actually embrace this kind of pandemic, but of course waving forward to, you know, a strong point and advantageous part of being in this particular situation. So, there are so many platforms, there are so many digital opportunities for all of us. And all we need to do is somehow to adjust. No, if change is not something for you, I think you have to embrace it now. Not because it's pandemic, but I think this is the way things are, looking forward, the way things are moving forward. And if you are lagging behind, definitely it's something that you have to change your views, your beliefs, and in fact, your culture. So, how do we get into that picture is actually a change of mind, a change of heart, a change of system. And in order for us to, fully embrace, come on, I'd like to, I'm also a millennial. In some literature, my age is still in the millennial. That's why I'm so happy that I'm part of the millennial. But of course, at this point in time, when we talk about demographics, millennials are we're giving, a bad connotation. But definitely, I myself know I really have to change, and I'm an educator. I'm a researcher, and the thing for me is actually to embrace this kind of changes. No, that's why I plunge myself into something like appreciating this digital technology, this digital economy, in order for me to appreciate how things are happening, and the beauty side, the beautiful side of which I gained so much. I was able to deliver, most of my platforms in a more convincing way, in a more virtual way for that purpose. Now, I don't know if you were able to download it, no? But the Philippine Travel has officially launched the app, no, for the travel. So once you are actually here in the Philippines, it's the official, the legit way on how you can travel to the Philippines. And I hope everybody will actually maximize this kind of thing. And I'd like to quote also the slogan of the Department of Trade and Industry, Go Local. So it's actually, moving forces together. You're looking at the Department of Tourism, you're looking at the Department of Trade and Industry. So why don't we try to, adjust ourselves and be part of the app of the Department of Tourism official travel app. No, so if you happen to go here to the Philippines, especially to my colleagues here and co-speakers, of course, from other ASEAN countries, I want you to download, of course, the app by the Philippines. It's more fun in the Philippines. It will be actually a pure guide for you in order for you to travel safely, and of course, with so much enjoyment with the Philippine destinations and attractions. So again, this is something digital, and I was talking to my mom, who's like 74 years old already, and she was like telling me, Toy, because I'm the youngest in the family, and she was like telling me, I want to learn Facebook, I want to learn Messenger also so that I can talk to you. And you can't imagine, even if my mom is already 74, she's like, she would like to avail this kind of services as well. And I can't wait for that moment that my mom will actually tell me, or perhaps make a video call out of the messenger. But hopefully, we'll get in touch with the 101, training for her for messenger and such other applications. No, so again, this is something digital, and even if you're looking at as a business. If you're looking on the business side, you should actually be involved with this kind of application. And if you are on the customer side or the guest list side, definitely you have to embrace again this particular app. And I think the point of as I end my discussion here, no, um, will actually be on the customization or probably the personalization. I think everyone else here should actually go for the digital clamor of personalizing the services, personalizing the amenities, the travel tour, the package here, especially when you're looking at local experience. If international travel is still limited in the next few years, then definitely we have to change our gears again in customizing and what is really, personal, and what is really the preferential of our preferences of our customers, without you knowing, by clicking some apps or by clicking some websites, they can actually trace already your behavior in terms of your favorite websites, etc., and so on. So definitely, the way forward is really to get in touch with the different clients and customers in a person-to-person approach, wherein their preferences will be accounted for when you offer your products and services. So I guess, given a limited time for case, I was able to give somehow, the top 10, if I may share, the best of possibilities on how we can actually maximize, digital economy and of course connectivity enhancement for the Philippine travel, tourism, and accommodation and the hospitality industry. So once again, gandang hapon po sa inyong lahat, and I'd like to live with my own personal thing. Let's live with the virus. If we can get away with it, let's live with that. Anyway, it's already there. We can help it. If the government is pushing so hard, then I think we have to live with the virus in order for us to make our tourism industry and hospitality industry in a better stature in the next few days. Magandang hapon po at maraming pong salamat.
Thank you very much, Mr. Giorgio Villamin, for that in-depth discussion on opportunities for digitalization and connectivity. Technology had introduced incremental innovation and positively transformed the tourism and hospitality industry. So we have experienced in the past that inventions in the tourism and hospitality industry have developed at a very fast moving pace. So just like what Mr. Villamin have mentioned, there are a lot of innovations coming in, applications that we can try, we can use in the industry. So it's high time to adopt, embrace technology and innovation in the tourism and hospitality industry. So now, participants, you may now post your questions through the chat box and through the comment section of the YouTube live streaming. We have moderators who will receive your questions. Kindly indicate your name and your affiliation and to whom you will address your question. So at this point, I would like to thank our speakers again, Mr. Sifang Shai and Mr. Villamin. We will now open the second part of this webinar to questions coming from our participants. May call on Ms. Galilea Lahara for questions from participants.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon, Dr. Navarrete. Professor Villamin. This question is for Professor Jojo. Hello, Sir Jojo.
Hi ma'am, magandang hapon po.
Magandang hapon, sir. Okay, I have a question po. As we continue to redevelop and redesign our existing services within the tourism and hospitality industry, many of our fellow citizens are having difficulties regarding redesigned services. We all know that because of this new normal caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, people are encouraged to utilize technology.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. I think Ms. Lahara had a problem with her internet.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Sir Jojo, I will continue the question. Okay, I'll repeat it again. As we continue to redevelop and redesign our existing services within the tourism and hospitality industry, many of our fellow citizens are having difficulties regarding these redesigned services. We all know that because of this new normal, caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, people are encouraged to utilize technology-mediated tools to avail services from these establishments within the industry. Having said that, how can the industry educate the public, especially those people who have no idea about utilizing such tools, Sir Jojo?
Okay. You know what? Excuse me. So I guess the question will actually on how we can make, especially those people who do not have access, no, to these kinds of things and allowing them, or shall I say, forcing them to embrace this kind of technology. There are so many platforms, no. However, due to again connectivity and reach issues, no, they weren't informed about these particular changes. But I'd like to believe that with the power of well, if I have to call again on the television scheme, because it's still one of the most powerful ways on how we can actually inform the public about these changes. Television will also be a good tool for us to reach those people. And mind you, even during the time of Rolly, the time of Quinta, the time of Shawnee, no, all these typhoons, we have to go back somehow in the in the radio program, or perhaps the radio frequency that we can actually put, so that these people will be informed also. Now if you're looking at CERT, it's actually a backlink program when we talk about television and radio, but at this point in time, since we're talking about limitation, it will also be the best platform in order for us to reach them, educate them that hey, these things are happening. Many will not agree with me, but even if we're talking about, I think the Philippines now has more mobile numbers than the number of Filipinos. We have also the most number of FB accounts than the most than the entire population of the Filipinos. But we can't speak for everyone. No, I think in this digital economy, we're not talking about full 100% access to digital world. But again, if we are to inform about these particular changes in the economy, I think we have to lay back a bit, one step backward, let them know that hey, aside from the typical radio and the typical television, we are already in this world of uh, digital economy. As I mentioned a while ago, my mom will always be the best example. Imagine at the age of 74, she was asking me, she want to know about Facebook and Messenger. So I think if my mom at that age of 74 can still manage to be so favorable in this kind of digital world, how else, the other parts of the globe or the other parts of the Philippines will not be able to appreciate this, much as we do, much as I do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Villamin, for the answer. All right, so for our next question, can I ask Mr. Richard Gamir for another question from our participants?
Good afternoon. Our next question is also addressed to Mr. Villamin. Hello, Sir Jojo.
Hi, Sir Chad.
Kumusta po? Sir Jojo, the question you just answered actually came from the Hospitality Society of UE Caloocan. This time, my question is from the Tourism Society of UE Caloocan. And the question is, what do you think is the biggest challenge of the Philippine government in bringing tourism and hospitality back to what it was before? And what can you suggest to improve the current situation in the country?
Okay, I think the biggest challenge, no, will actually be guaranteeing the guests, the customers, and the travelers for a safe uh, experience when they travel in the Philippines. No, I think that's one of the foremost consideration, because even if we ask ourselves as well, no, it will always be an important factor for us to consider before we travel. Is it safe to the place that I'm going to look forward to? So even if you are in the situation we're in, you would like to avail all the services like discounts, promos. These things will not be the only factor, because the primary consideration is safety. If you've been listening to so many, I mean, if you're seeing all in the applications in the social media, we have a 50% plus, we have a flat rate of this, blah blah blah, and all, and still it's not picking up. And if you happen to see also the travel updates from the United Nations World Travel Organization, we still have locked. I think ASEAN countries is 76% as compared negative 76% as compared to other parts or regions in the globe. No, wherein there's a possibility for global tourism. So if you will be asking me about what's the greatest concern, I think it's safety. No, everybody will have to be safe with this particular pandemic. Uh, and the other question was, if what will be the improvement or the changes that the government can actually guarantee is, I think they're doing well. They're doing well, no? I think it's more on, alam mo naman tayong Pilipino eh. I think it's on us, no? I think we're part of the problem eh. I mean, our behavior. Probably at times you will also question us being so democratic. I mean, the freedom that we're getting also will also be put into question in this time of pandemic. But I think we're doing great. No? I think the government is actually doing great already. But I guess we have to participate. We have to be responsible also. Um, if we are looking into the matter of considering ourselves to be part of the tourism industry, I think it should start from us also, considering that if the government is there, left and right, you will hear so much of announcement, reminders, etc. And if we're not picking it the way we are expected it to be, I mean the way we are to be responsible about this particular announcement, I think we cannot move forward the way we expected or the way it was, no? But so again, it's more on the safety and it's more on what can we do. It should start from ourselves. Sabi ko nga in my presentation, I think we have to live with the virus. If the Filipino people will not change, definitely, I think the move forward is actually we have to live with the virus. It's as if the virus is just beside us when we travel, when we do things, and when we actually work. I think we have to live with that kind of system that the virus is just around us. Thank you.
All right. So thank you very much, Sir Jojo. Now, one last question. So even if it's 4:30 already, one last question from Monica Reyes. Do we still have questions, Monica?
I think, ma'am, we will not entertain any question anymore.
So, all right. So we'll end there. So those questions posted through the chat box and through the comment section of YouTube, we will send that to the speakers for them to answer via email. Okay, so we'll now continue with the next part of this webinar. So I would like to thank again our speakers who contributed brilliant ideas in our discussion. So in behalf of the University of the East, we would like to recognize your efforts and for sharing us your time during this webinar. So we would like to award our speakers this certificate of recognition as a sign of our gratitude. The certificate, let me read the certificate. So the University of the East awards this certificate of recognition to our speakers and their topic as a resource speaker in the University of the East webinar, Opportunities in Tourism and Hospitality Industry, Breakthroughs for a Bright Future, held on November 6, 2020, signed by the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, University of the East Caloocan Campus, Dr. Jean C. Tayag, UE Caloocan Campus Chancellor, Dr. Zosimo M. Batad, and the University of the East President, Dr. Esther A. Garcia. So to our speakers, thank you again. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. So next, DC Darwin.
Yes, and for the closing remarks, may I call on our beloved Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Jean C. Tayag.
Thank you, DC Darwin, distinguished speakers, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that you all found this webinar truly insightful and inspiring. But let me just underscore a few points which stood out in my reflection as I listened to the presentations and discussions. One, I noted the growing appreciation for domestic tourism in the countries that were discussed as, in the words of Dr. Badarudin, a main pillar for sustainable tourism. Equally remarkable, I think, are the 4 Rs or 4 recovery strategies of Malaysia, which essentially uses this period as some kind of an opportunity for rethinking and refocusing the tourism industry, for changing models, for riding on technology, and for embracing innovation. Another notable point is that roadmap for sustainable tourism in Thailand, which includes, among other things, FIT or FIT, free independent travel, small travel, medical tourism, and health and wellness. And of course, I think I will keep thinking about the more than 2,000 almost virginal tourist destinations in the land of a million elephants, which I think compared to our own land has been barely touched by COVID-19. And of course, our own ongoing initiatives for digitalizing in the Philippines. I am sure you have heard many other ideas which you could reflect on. But let me now thank our speakers and all participants for this rich and very stimulating webinar. I hope And I sincerely hope that we shall continue the conversation beyond this webinar, and then we shall also continue cooperating and working with each other towards creating a bit better tourism industry and hospitality industry in the region. In closing, let me borrow that beautiful quote from Dr. Susilo: kapag sama-sama, tulong-tulong, kayang-kaya. Maraming salamat and thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Dean, for that closing remarks. All right, so that's it. It has been a wonderful and fruitful day, don't you think, Mama Ann?
Yes, we have had a very fruitful and meaningful discussion on recovery and redevelopment initiatives of different ASEAN countries and opportunities in terms of technology and innovation. So I would like to request the participants that before you leave, kindly accomplish the evaluation form. For participants through Zoom, please check out the poll that is flashed on the screen. And for participants in the YouTube live streaming, kindly click the link or scan the QR code for you to be able to accomplish or fill out the evaluation form. Okay? So thank you very much to our participants, the UE admin, our UE officials, our UE students, and other participants, okay, coming from other schools and other parts of the Philippines, the committees. Okay, so thank you very much, Sir Darwin.
All right, so let us hope that this pandemic ends soon, so the tourism industry will go back to what it was before. So once again, all our participants, speakers and guests, good afternoon and have a nice day to everyone.
So this has been your host, Mary Ann. Dr.
Caserona. Ma'am. Shout out sa mga TM1E, TM2E.